What's going on, everybody? Today we got some good information from LG regarding the price and the availability of the LG G5, C5, and B5 OLED TVs. This information was provided to me by High Def News over on X, and the article actually comes from Display Specifications, as you can see here on the screen. They're showing the information that was presented by LG. So I'm going to go through each model and tell you guys what the expected release date is for these products, as well as the expected price tag, and we'll also briefly talk about what each model is and what it will do for you if you get it into your home. Alright, so let's start off with the first model, which is the LG B5. This is the entry level into the OLED TVs. This model is of course a WOLED. It's got 120 Hz refresh rate, and it is going to be available in 48-inch, 55-inch, 65-inch, 77-inch, and 83-inch sizes. There's not going to be a 42-inch as of right now. They haven't announced that, but that could change in the near future. When it comes down to the brightness of this panel, you're probably looking at around 600, 700 nits on these TVs. Nothing too crazy when it comes down to brightness. If you want a little bit of a brighter TV, you go to the C5, and if you want an extremely bright TV, you're gonna go to the G5. However, the brightness is going to be enough for a lot of people when it comes down to HDR. I really do think the B5 is a great TV. The processor that it's using is the Alpha 8 Gen 2 AI processor, and this is going to be an upgraded version of the Alpha 8 that was found in the 2024 B4 model. And here on the screen I have the price tags listed for the European market for the LG B5. Now what we see here is the same pricing that we saw with the LG B4 in regards to the European prices last year. So naturally I would expect it to be about the same in the US as well. So here are the US prices from last year, but that's not guaranteed that this is going to be the US prices this year. We really don't know the US plan for LG in terms of pricing yet, but I would guess that it is going to be similar to last year, if not exactly the same. Like most TV releases, I think that if you're looking at the LG B5, then you're probably going to want to look at it a little bit later in the year, because if you have your eyes on a TV right now, it would be smarter to buy the LG B4 instead, or one of the numerous number of competitors from a different brand. To be honest, I do think the launch prices of some of these TVs are a little ridiculous, but that's the way it always goes, and we always do see a price drop fairly quickly after release date, and then a little bit later in the year that keeps dropping more and more and more. So just keep your eyes out on the price, and if you guys need more pricing information, you can stay locked into the channel because I always have updates on that, so that at the end of the day we can all save money. For the B5, you're looking at an April release date for the 77-inch, the 65-inch, and the 55-inch sizes. Later in May, you'll see a 48-inch size, and then in June, you will see an 83-inch size. Now let's move up to the LG C5. You'll ultimately go with this model if you want a little bit more brightness and just a little bit more gaming performance, although not really near the level of a LG G5, which I will talk about right after we talk about this TV. The LG C5 unfortunately feels like a carryover from the LG C4. Not much has really changed here when we're talking about the specifications of this TV. Last year we saw LG really push the C4 beyond its limits, and we saw some more image retention on gaming because of it. Although LG has said it's slightly brighter than the LG C4, I can't imagine it's that much. The LG C5 is going to be available in 42-inch, 48-inch, 55-inch, 65-inch, 77-inch, and 83-inch sizes. On the screen here I have the price tag for the European market, and what I've noticed is that it's the same exact pricing as last year's European prices, except for in the 65-inch size. It looks like it has gotten a 100 increase right there. Now once again, I don't know the US launch prices yet, but I would imagine that they are going to be very similar to last year's launch prices, with maybe the exception being that 65-inch size. Although it is really important to note that LG did raise the price of some of these sizes by $100 last year depending on the model, so you might see another price increase, but if I had to guess, you probably won't. The release date for the LG C5 set by LG is going to be March for the 77-inch, the 65-inch, the 55-inch, and the 42-inch size, while the 48-inch and the 83-inch are expected in May. Now the question remains, is this something that you want to buy at launch? Once again, looking at these prices, I would not buy the LG C5 at launch, and even after launch, I might not even buy the LG C5. Year after year, the competitors in this range are typically a little bit better than what the LG C5 is pumping out. Year after year, it just seems like LG is letting the LG C5 fall in the wayside of the LG G5 to make the G5 look even better. So that is the one thing that I think is kind of a downside for the LG C5. It's like not getting better than the previous years, not much. So why even buy the C5 when you could just buy the C4, or better yet, just get one of the S90 series from Samsung, which is a QD OLED. And unfortunately for the LG C5, it doesn't really have a special panel unlike this next one, the LG G5, which is using a brand new technology called primary RGB tandem OLED. You may even see it referred to as a 4-layer OLED. But you won't hear LG Electronics call it this. You'll probably just see like brightness booster, Maximus, Ultimus, whatever they call it these days. That's the kind of marketing terms you'll see associated with this OLED TV. But the technology itself is pretty impressive, and at the end of the day, yes, it is still a WOLED, but it is going to be an impressive version of a WOLED, as it is going to be capable of peak brightness higher than we've ever seen from a WOLED, and also color capability higher than we've ever seen from a WOLED. Not to mention that if you're a gamer, 165Hz capability is also on the line here with the LG G5. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited about here, especially regarding how great the LG G4 was last year. One of my favorite TVs of the year by far, and I am really excited for the LG G5 as well. Now last year there was a stand in the box for the LG G4 for the 55-inch and 65-inch sizes, while the larger sizes got the wall mount in the box. There was a rumor at CES saying that they might not do this year and they'll not have a stand in the box for those sizes, and if that happens, I will riot. But we have seen some information that it is sort of a region dependent thing, with some regions even getting multiple SKUs, meaning that they'll sell one version with the stand in the box and one version with the wall mount. So interesting thing if they do that here in the US. I'm not really sure what their plan is yet, but like I said, they better have a damn stand in the box. As far as the sizes we can expect from the LG G5, we're looking at 48-inch, 55-inch, 65-inch, 77-inch, 83-inch, and 97 inches. Now let's look at the pricing information for this model. Here I have the European prices on the screen, and I hate to sound like a broken record here, but yes, it is the same exact price as last year's LG G4 when it launched in Europe. So that's something to expect when you're looking at the price, and here are the prices from the US last year. Once again, I do expect about the same when we're talking about the prices for these TVs. In the US, LG just raised the prices last year, so I don't know if they're going to do that again. We'll see. Maybe they do. There's definitely a possibility of it. But let's talk about the release date for the LG G5. Unlike the LG C5, it looks like we're going to have to wait an extra month for this one, as it is going to be releasing in April in every size, except for the 48-inch, which is going to be launching in May. Now, those of you that want an LG G5, should you be grabbing one at launch, or should you grab the LG G4 right now? That is a tougher question than the last two I just answered, because I don't know what the technology gap is going to be between them. Now, I personally thought that the difference between the LG G4 and the LG G3 was quite large, so if we see the same type of thing this year, then you'll definitely want to wait. But I don't know if you're going to see the same thing this year. Yes, it is a different technology, but we are looking at a similar processor. This is the second year of the new Alpha 11 processor, which was tremendous last year. But are we going to see a huge increase there? I'm not really sure. So it's something to watch out for, and stay tuned to the channel for all the updates on the LG G5 and every upcoming TV this year. I'm definitely going to cover just about all the TVs coming out. So if you have any questions or want to know any information, this is the spot to be. This is the spot to subscribe to if you haven't already. There was definitely a lot of different TVs announced at CES 2025, and I covered a lot of them. So if you want to see some of those videos, check out these right here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.